everybody's scared. And you know the reason. Scared of
Generative AI, yeah.
chat GPT will take our jobs. And that's a burning question for everybody who is a data scientist. Everyone who is trying to be the data scientist, they're thinking, is it really the good field? And that's a question I think everybody is looking out for an answer. Every time people used to say, right, oil is the new currency. I feel the new currency today is the data. If you have the data, right, you're the king. And that's where data is so important. Again, I would like to give some caution, quote unquote, that, data is data science and the data field is really challenging also, but yet it's very rewarding as well. 90% of the youngsters, right, they are looking at job as salary.
Yeah, definitely.
They will filter highest salary giving jobs.
Yeah.
Data science is hitting that search.
Believe me when I say, this podcast episode is one of the very best interactions I have ever had around the domain of data science. In this episode, I got to interact with Mr. Akash Pushkar, a seasoned data scientist with more than 10 years of experience and having worked with companies like Accenture, Genpact, and HP. Currently, he is also associated with Accenture as a principal data scientist for strategy and consulting. And throughout this conversation, he touched upon many aspects of data science. He busted some of the job description myths and also gave some amazing inputs, which I believe every data science aspirant should know right now. So without wasting any time, let me take you to this interesting conversation around data science. Hello everyone. So we have Mr. Akash with us for this podcast conversation, which is going to be a very detailed conversation about data science as a career stream. But before we get started, I'd like to welcome you, sir, for this awesome podcast, awesome conversation setting. So first of all, I'd like to get started by knowing about how your career journey has been in the field of data science. Like, I've gone through your LinkedIn profile. You have almost more than 10 years of experience. So give us a brief about that for first.
First of all, thank you for having me here. I think my data science career started long back when I was doing engineering. So I'll try to take you to that part of my journey. So I'm a BTech in electronics and telecommunication.
Oh, so if you are from electronics background, how you landed into computer science? Like, what was the catch?
Yeah, there's an interesting story about it. So when I was doing BTech and I was offered an IT job, you might find it counterintuitive. I declined that. So when I was offered jobs in likes of Infosys Wipro, I said no. I will be doing IT. I'll be doing VLSI.
Okay.
That is a core field in electronics, or I'll do communication part of it, like joining likes of companies like Airtel and all. But fast forward today, you might be not literally computer science, but I'm doing data science on a daily basis. So let's try to understand this journey. So when I was writing GATE, even that time, so GATE is an examination for masters in IITs and IITs, right? So when I wrote GATE in electronics, till that time, I was thinking I'll join VLSI course, do my masters. But as it had to, or it turned out as is, that I landed up in doing industry engineering, and there was a mentor, and that's where the role of mentor becomes very important. So it was year 2013, and one of my mentors suggested me that, Akash, you should go for data science. That's going to be the field which we are talking about
right now.
Right. So when I applied for this course, did all those formalities, interviews and all, I got selected and I did industry engineering with the data science as a major. And that gave me the opportunity, to start my career here. So campus placement was in Genpact, right? I was there for, I would say, close to 2 years. Then I moved to HP. Now currently I'm working as a, principal data scientist with Accenture Strategy and Consulting. So that's how my career journey is so far.
Oh, all right. So what are your current roles and responsibilities at Accenture as a principal data scientist? I'd like to know more about that as well.
So although designation says principal data scientist, but I would like to give more insights behind it. So I'm a more of a supply chain consultant, to say so. So we do a lot of consulting project in the areas of, optimizing somebody's supply chain footprint. So let me, for the uninitiated, let me simplify it. So, if I have a demand, right? So let's say you order something on Amazon, right? How does Amazon fulfill that demand of yours, right? So the whole supply chain machinery gets into the action, right? So start from the supplier, the product will come, it will go to a warehouse, then it will come from, let's say, coming from Delhi to Bangalore, it will come through via air or truck, right? And then finally it will come closer to you and then it will get delivered.
So basically, it controls the complete delivery mechanism.
Right. So this is what we call supply chain network. Now, I just talked about one customer. Just imagine, millions of customers ordering. Amazon is a big company.
Yes.
So it needs to be optimized with respect to the, cost and, your customer satisfaction. So order needs to be delivered on time, but at the same time, it has to come through the minimum cost. So we go there, we understand client's problem and try to give them the best solution for them and try to shape up the industry. That's one of my, I would say, my core area where I focus. But I also do other sides of optimization and use data science a lot. So let's talk about a little bit demand planning, where you have to forecast, right? So who will order from where?
Yeah.
You have to also come to that. And that's where the other piece of supply chain start is that, forecast the demand, right? And that's where we use, advanced algorithm from machine learning, right? Generally, everybody start with linear regression, but we get into the advance of machine learning algorithm likes of XGBoost, random forest, Profit, which is given by Facebook, cyclic boosting given by Blue Yonder, right? So those algorithms we use to come up to the right answer for our client.
Yeah, that sounds pretty in-depth knowledge about supply chain and how data science is applied to the supply chain domain. But let's piggyback into the data science side of it and how data science is actually driving those nuances towards supply chain management, or how data science is helping supply chain management into the optimization part.
Okay. So I would say data science is definitely touching upon a lot of supply chain areas. So I talked about a bit on the forecasting. There are other areas of supply chain where we are enabling some of the operations or the processes with data science. But it goes as simple as to even data analysis. So, for example, I think everybody who's trying to be the data scientist, they must have heard the word pandas, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Correct. Not the Kung Fu Panda, but pandas. It's a library in Python. So any data analyst or data scientist job, start looking at the data. And trust me, data is always crap. Okay?
Yeah.
It's not qualitative. Doesn't matter. 90% times data will be bad shape. You have to get in a good shape. That's what we call data pre-processing. And these are some technical jargons. But end of the day, data needs to be ready to be used, right?
And that's the major part where a lot of aspirants face problems because they don't understand the statistical modeling behind it. They don't understand the process of cleaning data set and perceiving the important attributes out of it. That becomes the challenge for them. So how that can be addressed as well, like before they get onto the advanced modeling and creating machine learning algorithms, how they can, optimize the way of cleaning data.
Okay. So I think you're right. Data analysts or data scientists, right, before they can do actual data science, they need to be really good at analyzing
the data.
So that's where you're right, Omkar. But I feel before that, it needs to be understood for those who want to be in this field that getting the data, and when you're doing a project, it depends a lot of that, how quickly you can get the data and be ready for it. So data might come in different, from different sources. For example, data, generally people think it comes as an Excel file, but I think everybody knows Excel has some limitation. There is a limitation of 1 million rows, but given the, so much technology has shaped up, or it has gotten into advanced.
Yeah.
Now we are generating so many characters, right? Data is getting generated every time.
Yeah, like I recently read this fact that we are generating millions of data bytes every day. That's hell lot of data, right?
And our client, our customer would want us to analyze every bit of information. So data is becoming big and big. So that's where getting the data in the optimized way, as you're telling, all right, into the source system where we will analyze. It's also a big task. And that's where I feel anybody who's trying to get into this, they need to understand SQL. SQL structured query language is one of the, I think, amazing tool for a data scientist toolkit.
Yeah, and even it is like fundamental for NoSQL frameworks, or let's say big data tools that we are talking about. Let it be Apache Hadoop, Apache Cassandra. It's the fundamental notion you need to know before you tap into the power of those tools, right?
Exactly. And you need to also understand that where to use what. If you're getting data easily, you don't need to start getting into Apache or big data tools, right? Get it and get start with the data preparation part. Data nowadays coming from cloud, so I feel everybody has to have one-on-one, right? The foundation course in cloud, right? It's not that you have to become a cloud engineer, right? It's more about the working knowledge, the foundation on the cloud, so that you know that if the data is coming from AWS, which is Amazon Web Services, or Azure, you should know that what is going to be the structure of it, how you can read the data directly into your Python notebook. Those knowledge will help you, and that's what's getting more diverse. Once the data is flowing directly to your system, or you are getting it locally, right? Then the biggest task starts, and that's that, understand the data is correct or not. Then comes the second piece, data is complete or not, right? And you have to be very fast and agile in quickly understanding what is the data, what are we missing, so that you can directly communicate these things to the client, and you are always on track.
Yeah, and again, like before even getting into the phase of preparing the data, understanding problem from business standpoint is very, very important. I guess you'll second me on that. So if anyone, be it let's say a beginner or let's say someone working in the IT field, but they don't have any business acumen about, let's say, supply chain or any other discipline, be it marketing, be it sales, but they want to enter into the field of data science, how important business acumen and understanding of problem statement becomes important in that case, and how they can crack that, to get into the field of data science, how they can build the business acumen.
Okay, amazing question first. So, Onkar, I think that's where now everybody's scared. And you know the reason, scared of
generative AI, yeah.
ChatGPT will take our jobs. And that's a burning question for everybody who is a data scientist. Everyone who is trying to be the data scientist, they are thinking, is it really the good field? And that's a question I think everybody is looking out for an answer. So I'll take some time to answer it.
Yeah.
Please allow me to do that.
Sure.
So I think now, and take my word, mark my word, going for the 2024 and onwards, just knowing Python is not a skill. Just knowing machine learning algorithm is not a skill. It was never as well. So if you go back, right, everybody has always seen data science, AI, machine learning, right, all these buzzwords, always a horizontal. So let's understand what I mean when I say horizontal. Horizontal means these are going to be the common to every business problem. And then we have verticals. So like I'm part of one of the verticals called supply chain, right? Someone might be working in marketing. Right? Doing a lot of campaigning, buying and doing A/B testing.
Yeah.
Right? Then someone will be trying this into the healthcare industry, right? Control group and test group, running statistical model. No, they're not even doing literally advanced machine learning. With the Google coming in there, I was saying that will scan the retina and they will, diagnose some of the diseases even faster and having better result than some of those machines, right? The diagnostic machines. So these are the things you need to understand that. I'll take my example because I'm in supply chain for the longest time. Supply chain, if you understand, and that is something a training cannot fulfill that. It will take some time to build the business understanding, right? If you understand, let's say I'm working in network optimization, or let's say inventory optimization. If I don't know the basics of inventory, the fundamentals, what are the key issues that keeps coming for the business, I cannot be able to use the horizontal, the tools from machine learning side, right, and likes of that to come to a, or to judge it, or to make it better use of those tools to deliver the best for my customer. So business acumen is something you need to also explore. Where are you good at it? For the instance, right, if you take my journey, I was in HP for a very short time. It was a small stint, right? I was there for 9 months or so. I was trying to do something in finance, internal audit. I tried, explored, I failed. I came back to supply chain. What should be the framework to someone who's trying to be in this field to assess themselves? So for example, I am trying to be a data scientist. First, I'll also try to bring data science as a tool where I should apply the particles. So let's say I want to be in supply chain because I have done some operations in some of the courses in my BTech or MTech or wherever, MBA, right? I'll try applying data science in those areas and see that am I able to understand the business problem? Can I give a good solution? That's where a lot of data scientists, they suffer once they start their career. So for 2-3 years, they will, go and grow. But after that, they get stagnant because they're not able to tackle the business problem. They don't have a very systematic approach to answer the problem, right? And that will only come with experience. And this is something, it's like wine. With time, it will get better.
It will get better. Yeah. So we just talked about how important understanding the business part of is, right? But how do you formalize in form of problem statement? For example, if I'm trying to solve one problem in form of supply chain management, but I'm not able to formalize the problem statement itself. So how that is formalized in any organization or at an organization level?
So let's take a simple example. Suppose somebody is saying that, okay, I need to optimize my cost while meeting my service level targets, right? So that could be customer satisfaction for the uninitiated. Then we have to come up with the problem statements, right? And that will be more detailed one. So this is more like coming from the customer, like the headline. Objective
the chunks of it.
Objective of the project is this. I need to fulfill all the demand and minimize the cost. Cost is everything.
Yeah,
boss. So how you will go? So if you are having some experience in this field, you will start with understanding the inefficiencies in the process. For that, you need what? You need data. So we look at, are they able to utilize their warehouses, right? So warehouse is, again, it's a simple term for the supply chain guys. For the other, they might be confused. So warehouse is more like, you keep your material stores and nothing like a storage room. Are you able to utilize it efficiently? How much is the utilization? Data will tell you. Then you can go and communicate to the client. So that's one way of looking at one of the pillars. Then you will think about, okay, what is moving between the warehouses and the DCs, which is distribution center, till the customer? Logistics.
Yeah.
It can be aeroplanes. It can be trucks. It can be as simple as a courier guy on the bike.
Yeah.
Are you utilizing their time as well? Are you not, moving things a lot? So suppose I have to deliver to you something, but I first deliver to the other guy and that guy delivers to you, you unnecessarily increase the cost.
Yes.
It's as simple as that. So these problems statement, which we are trying to understand, will come from the data. And it has to be on the line with the business overall objective.
Yeah.
End of the day, I need to minimize the cost while maintaining the service level, which is your customer satisfaction.
Okay.
If that answers.
Yeah, that makes sense. So now going back to the data science as a discipline, now we have a lot of learners associated with us, a lot of aspirants who are trying to get into the field of data science. I mean, it's a per se, data science is kind of buzzword in the industry right now. Everyone wants to be a data scientist, but there should be some criteria to check whether if I am really a good fit to become a data scientist, right? So what would be that criteria? What would be the framework to test if I am a good fit to become a data scientist?
Very good question. And thanks for asking. Everybody wants to be, the ones which are trending.
Yeah, definitely.
I wanted to be an actor and I decided to be an astronaut because I saw this. If somebody has...
Yeah, definitely.
Right. Then I wanted to be a businessman because I started watching a lot about Mukesh Ambani, right?
So aspirations keep on changing. Like
right?
as we grow, initially I'd like to become a cricketer, but years down the line,
Cricketer is the common career goal for everybody. And that was mine when I was a really kid in 8th grade or so. So end of the day, aspiration keeps changing, which is good. So suppose you want to buy a good camera, right? You go to all the different camera shops.
Yeah, definitely.
Then you decide to buy one. Career is also that, I would say, that detailed choice you have to make. Else you will suffer. Why we are talking about career so seriously these days? Because it's something you'll do for another 30 years, isn't it? Am I right?
Yeah.
So you start 25, 26 into job. Till 60, generally everybody's plan. But let's say till even 50 you are planning to work. It's hell 25 years.
Yeah, definitely. That's
right?
Hell a lot of time you're investing into something.
So just imagine, I'll give another example here. I give you a job of a liftman. You just go and up and down. In physics, your work done is zero.
Yeah,
because
definitely.
your displacement is zero, right? So you might be not off for this job, right? And just imagine, just multiply. 30 years you have to do it. So that's where, if you're not able to get a job of your dream, a job of your choice, give it some time. Don't jump to a job because everybody is jumping. That's what we call peer pressure.
Yeah.
So if everybody is going into IT boom happened like that. I'm from electronics, doing software development. I'm from mechanical, automobiles. Engineer, they are doing some C and C++. Can they survive? If they don't have the interest, definitely they are the ones who are in the bottom of the bell curve, right? The tail. They will definitely gonna get fired. So my point is that even for data scientists, now since 90% of the youngsters, right, they are looking at job as salary.
Yeah, definitely.
They will filter highest salary giving jobs.
Yeah.
Data science is hitting that search. Then they think, oh, I can be the data scientist. And then this framework which you're trying to understand is very important. Can I be the true data scientist? How can I assess that? You have to start doing little bit of,
reconciliation.
I would say reconsideration of, your aspiration. You have to test it, and you can test it at home. You don't need to go and join some training program to do that. I'll help you with the framework. When I wanted to be data scientist, first thing I started doing that what data scientists do. Like we have talked about, and I'm damn sure that on your podcast, the previous one, there were a lot of good speakers speaking about what data scientists do.
Yeah.
Can you take a problem now? Trust me, when I was trying to be a data scientist, nothing was there. Now we have Kaggle.
Yeah.
We have Intellipaat, a lot of playlists and videos to help you answer that question. In my time, nothing was there. So what I did, whatever the information we had, right, I started looking into it and try to understand what they do, right? Can I do that? Do I have the background, right? So
before even, tapping into that, decade back, data science was not even a major thing. Like people were not discussing about data science as highly as they are discussing it right now. So how you got across this career domain? I mean, that's a big query that is going inside my head right now.
So that thanks goes to the mentor. So he gave me there's something called data science coming, right? So he was in US and he said that, and he was more into research and EST. He said he was in Germany, so he said go for data science, and then I started searching for the word.
So you just piggybacked on his word, or like?
No, I did all the homework. So I was good at maths.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah. So that's a big motivator in that case.
I was good at maths. Machine learning is mostly mathematics. Right. And I was good at maths. The reason was I'll go back to if you allow, I'll go back to my training. So I also do a lot of training, which I would like to talk about. So when I was in BTech second year, third year, right, I started teaching mathematics for IIT.
Oh, damn.
And I hope everyone knows that IIT maths is the toughest.
Difficult exam in the world.
So I was doing great, and I realized that maths is something is on my side.
Yeah.
Coding, to be honest, now I'm doing a lot of coding, but that time I was zero in coding. Zero means zero. There was something called C, letter C by Yashwant Kanitkar. Did not open that book. Somehow I passed, right? But now I feel that two things you have to understand for data science. Maths is something you have to have a good understanding, and not the whole mathematics, to be very clear here. linear algebra, probability and statistics, and calculus.
Yeah.
If you're good in these three areas of the maths, I'm not talking about trigonometry, geometry, all those stuff, right? Or even those gamma, beta functions.
Yeah.
If you are good in these three areas of maths, right, and just decent, you will be able to do a good job in, any electrical job. At the end of the day, you're going to crunch the numbers, right?
Yeah,
You're going to crunch the numbers, right? Then comes the logical understanding, that logical aptitude.
Yeah.
Are you able to quickly get a problem and divide into like a decision tree?
Yeah,
Left, right,
building
center,
the intuition for it.
right. If you're able to do that, then comes the third thing: bring the domain. That's the most important ingredient of the data scientist recipe. If you bring up this spice, oh, I'm good in, let's say, marketing.
Yeah.
I understand marketing. You've read something about it, or you've done some course, right? Some of the guys study operations research. You can go and come in my field like optimization and all, right? Or you are good in, let's say, little bit on the healthcare side. You understand pharmacy, you understand biologist job. You can apply data science. Companies like Novartis, Biocon, they also need data scientists. So that's how I feel, you have to build a framework, explore that, give it some time, do some internship, right? And once you have this clarity in mind that, oh, I'm able to do it. And there are a lot of websites which help you to test this whole thing, right? You can take some mock tests, understand your Python understanding, understand what you're able to get into statistics or not, and can you test it, then understand the domain, and then apply, do some internship. Once you are doing great in that, try to get in a job. Generally, you have to do this while you are in college.
Okay, I got that point. So now, before we summarize the framework, what I'd like to ask is how someone can build the coding skill. So like you mentioned, you come from electronics background, you don't have any background in programming, and that becomes a challenge for many because programming is overall a different beast itself, right? It's not as intuitive as mathematics. It doesn't come naturally to you. You need to understand the language, you need to perceive the nuances, keywords, matrices, and everything. So in order to make that happen, how someone who is coming from non-tech background can approach a programming?
Okay.
And what will be the best way for them to learn the programming?
Okay, first we need to get rid of this taboo that, programming is only for technical people. We do programming every day, right? When you're trying to ride a bike or drive a car, you are taking those logical decisions. It's a flow chart.
Yeah, definitely.
Right? So I have to take a U-turn, right? I have to make sure that I switch on the indicator, right? Right? It's more like following the rules of the arena. If you talk about Python, because Python is the biggest programming language for data science as of now, I did R programming. It's another program.
Okay, yeah, I know.
I did not know anything about Python when I joined Accenture.
But R is like more close to statistical modeling.
Right. But R is doing a lot of stuff, to be honest. Statistically, even for machine learning. R is there, but generally Python has come up a long way. Let's take Python. What is programming? Programming is getting any problem and break it into logical solution, right? And I always feel a big problem, you take it, you break into small modules. That's what I call program.
Yeah.
The small modules are called program. I'm not talking about any programming language here. It's just like on a plain paper and pen, you can write how I'm going to approach this. Divide into small modules or segments and try to solve it logically. So for example, I'll take a very simple example. If I have to, let's say, find the second highest salary in each department, right? So in here, a lot of people must be working, right? What should be my approach analytically so that I can find? So how will I find it? If I have to solve this problem on the spot, it's very simple. I'll try to find the, by department, the max, all the salary, rank it up and find the second one.
Yes.
Right? Simple. Someone has to do manually, he can do it. Just imagine this is something you are going to write in Python. So then you need to know the language of the land, which is your arena, the rules. The data frame you have to build, you have to know the filter, the function. But if you're able to do the first step, which I just talked about, the program will come naturally.
Yeah, the analytical mapping of a problem.
Yes. Tomorrow you might be using not Python, let's say XYZ. Then you have to learn that also, right? Python might phase out.
Yeah.
So don't worry, Python lovers. I'm not saying it's going away, but it might, just like it has happened with R.
Yeah.
So then what is going to be the common? The
analytical logic.
Right? Logic, your knack for solving analytical problems, right? Logically. If that art you have, or you can upskill and get there, right? You can be a good data scientist.
Yeah. So to summarize the framework to check whether you can become a data scientist, we'll start with assessing if you have the love for math, or if you, let's say, per se, like statistics or the concepts that lie around the area of calculus and linear algebra, right?
Right.
Second thing would be mastering a programming language, again, which is again going to be a very intuitive thingy. You'll have to understand how to map a problem into analytical setting. So this is going to be a second pillar. Then
Right.
you'll go on to trying your hands-on at the programming, building your machine learning algorithms, learning the concepts, and then probably you'll do the analysis by giving the mock test, if I'm not wrong. So that's the framework you're talking about, right?
Exactly. Yeah, we have nicely captured it, Akash. Yep.
Yeah. So now that we have understood the framework, moving forward, I'd like to ask you, like, why someone from non-technical background, or rather, let's say someone who is working as a software engineer, or someone who is in a college and is part of computer science community, why they should get into the field of data science right now, even though it is a buzzword, but why they should get into this particular field when there are so many other skills are growing at the astronomical pace as well. For example, let's say cloud computing, DevOps, site reliability engineering, all these skills are also being in demand. But why someone should go for data science particularly?
First of all, brilliant question. In data science, although we are tagging it as a profession, but everybody is using data science. Let me break it for everybody here. So let's start with some voice assistant, right? Even a kid is using Alexa.
Yeah, definitely.
Right? When you say, hey Alexa, right? What's the time? So you need to understand when you are saying that, what's the time, right? You are actually using some component of, ML and AI. There is NLP, which is natural processing. So Alexa tries to understand what kid is asking, right? Kid is not knowing that there is some data science in AI. Second thing, I feel that if I take another example, like nowadays everybody is using smartphone, right? You have those AI camera, right? Of your Face ID, which iPhone has, and likes of might have a different name, but unlocking your phone with the image. You're doing image process.
Yes.
Right? People trying to applying filter, right? Enhance the, image quality, look and feel and aesthetics. You're using this. So it's like every time people used to say, right, oil is the new currency. I feel the new currency today is the data.
Yeah, data science.
If you have the data, right, you're the king. And that's where data is so important. Google, that's why we keep saying Google is the giant, because they have the most amount of data than any business can have. Although Google is trying to break into GenAI, and we'll talk about that. ChatGPT, which is OpenAI, is having some lead. So it's like OpenAI 1, Google 0. But things will change. Trust Google, give some time. So data science is something anybody can quickly relate to. Like site engineering, definitely another career, right? For that matter, chartered accountant is another booming career, right? But not everybody can be the CA. But data science, everybody is able to analyze, oh, this is data, then we can come something. People are trying to put some videos, they understand some analytics. You get summary of your expenses, that where do you spend? Bank is giving you that. Oh, you spend a lot of money in movies. Damn, I'm watching so many movies. Right, you're spending a lot of money on food, and then you're sitting on a theater watching movies, eating popcorn, and then you realize, look at me, right? You might be thinking I'm eating a lot of popcorn and watching movies, and then on one fine day on a weighing scale, it scales up. Then you realize, oh, data is coming from everywhere, and people try to relate it with data because they're using every day. Right. So I feel anybody who has a knack of doing, again, going back to that, that they're good at maths, they are able to solve some analytical problems. They are I would say, the pure true choices for to be the data scientist, and it's very easy to get into it. Again, I would like to give some caution, quote unquote, that data is data science and the data field is really challenging also, but yet it's very rewarding as well. So I remember that when I started my career into data science, the pay was still better than IT. But now if you see, right, and to give you some numbers, and I was the placement coordinator in IIT Kanpur as well.
Oh,
So that's where I can give you some real numbers, not some made up numbers or inflated numbers. Today, I think a good data scientist, right, they might be easily getting somewhere close to 10 to 15 lakhs, right? But there are some tier 3 companies or 2 companies, tier 2 and 3 companies, they might give you, but even still you will get 8 to 10 lakhs in cities like Bangalore, Delhi, Mumbai. And the roadmap is really amazing, So suppose you want to go and grow yourself in data science field, sky's the limit, right? So you can be the head of data science as a more like if you see from the career aspiration side, right? And somewhere easily you can go 1 CR plus, right?
Oh,
so it's such a huge bump up if you see, and data science is not going anywhere with the ChatGPT coming into the picture. People are a bit worried, right? And we were interacting right before this, right? That we are losing job. I think you gave me some number, right?
Yeah. So I read this very intriguing fact from Economic Times. They wrote in their article that in last year, 400,000 people lost their jobs. And out of those 400,000 people, 22.8% were from software engineering background. So, I mean, these many IT professionals, that too from booming segment of software development, lost their jobs. But when it comes to data science, that figure lies in like single digit. So, of course, data science is not going anywhere. And I second you on that note. But like, what would be the future dynamic for data science probably 10 or 20 years down the line?
Okay. I'm no astrologer, but still I'll try to answer that question
by analyzing trends
analyzing trends and data, and with my experience so far. I think any data scientist who is focusing on data science along with a domain, they are irreplaceable.
Okay.
That business acumen we were talking about, right? That gives you an edge over the other data scientists. If you're just trying to take some data, doing some summary, charts, visualization, or some model you are building, you are going to get replaced. People are worried too much after the ChatGPT came into the picture, or likes of ChatGPT. Recently, Devin has come.
Yeah.
It's like a full framework for software development. But doesn't mean software developers are going to just go home. It's not like that. Any tool with every century, or with, I would say for data science every year, to be honest, every year data science field or some other fields, they will have some advancement. You need to keep flexible, be flexible, adapt to those things. And I'll get into the details and try to take advantage of that. So for example, before ChatGPT, there was a concept of AutoML. You might have heard about it. AutoML, what it does, it is like low code, no code. So you're not going to write big Python codes and get your machine learning framework modeling for that, right? It is just very fast. But it doesn't mean that my team, right, or any other data science team, they're not doing any coding today. What they're trying to do, AutoML works, but can it be generalized? No way. Every business will have their unique problem. And you need a unique solutioning approach. If you're good at solutioning, that will come on the back of business understanding along with the right set of tools that AutoML cannot give you.
Yeah, definitely.
So same with ChatGPT. Now I'll tell you how we are using ChatGPT, how I'm using individually. So now our, production time of developing a tool or asset has declined, or I would say has reduced to a great extent. So let's say, I'll give some number hypothetically. Let's say I'm taking 3 months to make a good tool, data science based supply chain tool. Now we can do the same thing in 1 month. Does it mean that people are losing their job? No, it's just that we are now able to churn out more outcomes in less time with the help of tools like ChatGPT. How are we doing that? We are trying to take a simple approach that, Let's say I want to create a code for a small module. I'll ask ChatGPT to give me a skeleton, right? And then try to use that skeleton as per our requirement. So still you need somebody who is a data scientist, who are more of a Python programmer, to take that skeleton and enrich it. So it's like, just like Jupyter Notebook gives you some auto command, right? So suppose you're writing code, it completes it.
Yeah.
But does it mean that it will complete everything which you are envisaging or you're envisioning here? No. It has to be some skeleton, but you have to start adding it. So just like, make and shift home, right? You have like walls, you start, assembling, you are doing faster. But then somebody is making those assembly or the sub-components. So just like somebody is building ChatGPT, you have to use for your data science work, but you have to be adaptable here. You have to be, learning the new technologies so that you can use in your own job, own work, and then see that how can you add value on it. So now if you're only learning Python, you might be feeling a little scared or jittery about that, oh, I might lose the job because you're only knowing Python. But if you know the business, you know that how I can solve the problem, what is my approach, and how can I make it better with the using these tools or leveraging these tools, you are anyway replaceable then.
Yeah, so basically what you're saying is today organization don't want specialization, they want generalization. So basically you do have a specialization in certain domain, but you are able to scale up and generalize across other business functions as well. Is what I'm saying right?
To an extent, yes. So, but my point was more on like you have to have a specialized area. So in that case, I would say business. So for example, I'm working in supply chain, but what within supply chain? So I said I do a lot of fulfillment and network optimization. That's my core strength. But if I am working my core strength and now data science fields keep changing and I keep learning those traits and try to keep working my core strength, still I am going to be relevant in the business.
Okay.
So I am not saying that you generalize your skills to everything. Like you should be good at everything. Not possible, even if you want. So that's why I would like to counter that. Idea is to be specialized and adaptable.
So basically you need to specialize in one business vertical and you need to know the ins and outs of data science completely.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's how we can summarize this.
Yeah, basically, right. So one more thing I'd like to talk about data science job description right now, right? So I have been observing a lot of data science job description on LinkedIn. We have been going through them because we have a placement team which help a lot of people create their resumes. A lot of our learners associated with us, we help them create resumes. Now, the trend that we are seeing over there is that right now, even for a beginner level data scientist, companies are asking for MLOps, right? And which is a new trend that we are seeing these days. And a lot of programs, let's say even at the college level, people don't teach MLOps, or even, let's say, fresher data scientists, they don't have hands-on knowledge about MLOps. So is MLOps a trend in data science right now, or is it like a necessary tool for data science?
Okay, very good question. I think we are talking about job description.
Yeah.
ZDs are always misleading. And I'm telling in my own capacity. I'm not representing anybody here, just to be a disclaimer. I have always a problem with JD. Okay. So job descriptions are like that. Something which was developed 2 years back, they might ask experience of 10 years. So you can't trust JD. Okay. And there are examples on LinkedIn to say so. But coming back to the specific question, do every data scientist needs MLOps, right? No, not at all, right? MLOps itself is a job, a very specific job, right? Data scientists. So let's also understand these. Data analyst, business analyst, right? BI analyst, business intelligence analyst, right? Data scientist, ML scientist, MLOps, ML engineer, data engineer. It might look like, oh, so many names. It's only one job. No, everybody has the different roles and responsibilities. It just happens. It turns out that in today's world, and mostly on our side, Indians, they are always a fan of Superman. I want to be the Superman, right? I can take it. And that's where I'm trying to again come back to. You need to have a anchoring yourself to one domain. I'm doing supply chain for almost 8 years now. I'm anchoring myself. Is it like really tough for me to go and do risk and modeling, banking, marketing? Yeah, it is tough. Suddenly I cannot switch over a night, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Career, right? Virat Kohli cannot start bowling to it. You just take this example.
Right.
You have to back your instinct and build, strengthen your core skill. My core skills is going to be in supply chain. I can hover or go left, right, center in supply chain. But suddenly I cannot be joining the Elon Musk SpaceX, right? Oh, now I want to become an astronaut, right? Or I want to become the engineer, the space engineer. Not possible.
Yeah.
Done for this life, right? So my 2 cents to the investor is that back your instinct and work on it.
Okay.
You might fail. You might not clear some of the interviews, but you have to back your instinct. And that's where JD has a big role to play. But I will try to, be a bit sorry to those who are trying to get a job. And that's on us, data science fraternity, that JDs are so misleading. But trust me, it's for all the different roles in the whole globe. So JD is always going to be like everything they'll put it and they'll try to judge. So MLOps is not the thing that data scientists really needs to do, to be honest. I feel data science has to do a lot, bringing data analytical skills. Like we talked about in the first segment, that data analytics is all about understanding the data, quickly do EDA, which is explorative analysis, right? And then once data is ready, can you use the existing machine learning algorithm and try to find the best one for you and your business problem? That's what data scientists do. So it's more like I would say it's a mixture of, a data scientist is a mixture of business analyst, because he has to know the business as well. At the same time, data analysis, he has to be good at data analytical skills. Third, they might need to report these summaries and they need to know the BI as well. So like, the libraries like Matplotlib, visualization libraries, Seaborn, Plotly, right? So that a data scientist is like, and that's why they're getting paid the highest on among these JD's roles. MLOps is a different thing. It's more like your machine learning project lifecycle, right? Deploying it, what are the version history, controlling that. Someone else can do it. It's like I am the data engineer, I am the data scientist. So it reminds me of the Kamal Hassan movie, right? If someone can relate to my humor, that playing the one guy playing all the roles, right?
Yeah.
Then you will be in a big trouble.
Okay, understood. You also mentioned that you are part of recruitment lifecycle at your organization right now. So can you give us some insights about how the recruitment process is catered right now for data scientist job roles?
Yes, and I would be more than happy to do it, because that's where we are also struggling, and like us, other organizations are struggling, because the candidates are also following the JD trend. If JD is saying, can you do this, they'll write, I know everything, I'm the Superman. But the guy will ask you a question, right? Interview is not like just, oh, come on, you are the Superman, right? You cannot appoint yourself. So then the Superman has to defend himself or herself, right? Wonder Woman or Superman, right? That, oh, I'm really the Superman. And generally 99% it's not the case. So what's we are struggling with? And that's where the guys who are looking out to polish the resume or CV, right? Mock interview, I'll give some bites for them as well. So first of all, don't go and write anything which you've never done.
Okay.
Just for the sake of getting your resume selected, because it is a waste of time for everybody, for the HR, for the guy who will come to interview for first round of interview, right? Because you have written something like, and now with ChatGPT, they are using some fancy words and resumes are getting better and better. So our resume filtering system is not able to reject those.
ATS.
And we need to, ATS. We need to do something about it as well, because AI needs to be applied there as well. Just like, other systems are using AI. But question is that interview is going to be more like a physical process, right? All we'll do on virtual, but we're going to face on a video camera. You can't lie, right? So that's where you need to be specialized. Suppose you say, I'm very good at data analysis. So somebody is asking about pandas, right? You have to defend your skills in that. You have to answer questions, right? So that's where I feel try to be honest, number one, ethical in terms of writing what you can do, and then give an open room that, okay, I'm very good at Python, but SQL I can manage. And you have to mention that in the interview so that you're not going to get asked question on SQL. And even the interviewer is not going to come from SQL background. The guy has to from the Python background. So that's where these resume getting selected, chance is very high, right? And it has to be very clear cut. And always try to keep it on one page. So if you are writing like a 3-page or 4-page resume, trust me, if you are coming from somewhere less than 5 years experience, you should not have more than 2. In ideal case, it's 1 page is enough, right? And always try to, give them a very good summary of what you have worked on. And that summary, you cannot ask ChatGPT to prepare for you.
Yeah, definitely.
I'm being very, trying to very clear on that, what you can chat GPT and what you cannot chat GPT. You're trying to understand the Python code, you can chat GPT. But if you're trying to make a summary for your resume, you can't ask chat GPT. This has to come from within, right? You cannot chat GPT your summary for your profile. Then I feel that you need to have right projects, and you have to make sure that in the first 15 minutes of your interview, generally the first round lasts somewhere close to 45 to 60 minutes. So in the first 15 minutes, you have to showcase your strength without giving the interview an idea about your weaknesses.
Okay.
You have to bring your interview to the core
Basically, you'll have to strategically plan your whole interview process.
Right. And as a matter of fact, it might happen that the interviewer will get little, left, right. It is your job that, if you can request humbly that this is one project I have done, can we start from there? Maybe start from there and try to get into conversation like we are having one.
Okay.
Let's not try to make a Q&A, right? In interviews are always,
Q&A.
More like a conversation, not like Q&A. And then comes the technical part. And that's where I feel that don't go and say something which you have not done or which you have just copied and pasted on your GitHub profile. And we'll talk about that in a moment. You have to go and talk about something which you know thoroughly. In any interview, and especially in data scientist interview, right, we don't judge on somebody's on syntax. If somebody is doing, so my 2 cents to them, they are doing really injustice to the people who are trying to be data scientists. Because see, look at that. They're trying to learn SQL, they're trying to learn Python, R, Power BI, Tableau. You can't expect them to know every language like back of their hand.
Yeah.
But they should be able to clearly come out up with that, how to read a file. They can't miss that.
Yeah.
You have to use pandas. You have to know what are the libraries, what are the code structure, right? Syntax, you can go little here and there. That plus minus 10-20% is there. And then we have ChatGPT, Google, right? It's fine. But end of the day, you should be quickly able to understand the question, answer it. Second thing comes, which I feel today's candidates are missing a lot. They are also trying to get into so many things at once to try to articulate your strength, right? So if you're trying to solve a case study, start with the problem, what data you have, what kind of assumptions you want to make, how will you use the data or information at hand to break it into, solution, and then explain how will you code it, right? It can be as simple as a machine learning project. I feel that some of the key projects you should have in your kitty if you're trying to be a data scientist role, it has to be something in predictive analytics, right? So applying machine learning algorithms like random forest, XGBoost, right? Interview might start with a linear regression question, but ultimately they'll go there.
Yeah, obviously.
Right? And then comes the visualization part, which nobody talks about it. Everybody thinks Power BI or Tableau or some charts is bullshit. No. End of the day, you're not going to talk to the business stakeholders by using some lines of code, right?
Definitely.
Or you will not say, I'll use, max depth equal to 3 for a decision tree model, right? You are going to say that, this is what we did. This is how it helps you to answer this problem. And there's a very nice book on that I would like to recommend to everybody. It's called Storytelling with Data.
Okay.
Right? So you need to know what charts can be used for what kind of storytelling, right? And you need to bring up those charts right at the right point, and you have to explain with the charts. You have to have the key 1 or 2 takeaways from those charts and have to, let the others talk. because in these meetings he'll not get more than 10 minutes, right? You cannot show 100 lines of code, or you cannot show 20 slides.
So basically, guys, what he's telling is you need to create resume according to the industry standards. Don't use any GPT or AI influential tools. Make sure that you highlight your summary yourself,
Right.
add projects onto it, and make sure you build your portfolio over tools like GitHub itself, right? If that summarizes, or you can participate into Kaggle competitions.
Yes.
Yeah.
Kaggle is definitely, or likes of Kaggle is definitely. And for that, I think Intellipaat does provide you. I have been told that, they have really good playlists curated for the need for the algorithms, like whatever algorithm you want to. And Kaggle is your your practice ground. There you can go and showcase your work. And some of those works you can, publish on LinkedIn using your GitHub profile.
Okay.
And trust me, the guys who are scouting for data scientist candidate, they give value to these things, right? But it cannot be just, you can just poke somebody's work, copy paste on your GitHub profile, say I have done it. Then again you are going to get caught.
Yeah, that is a fair point actually. So now that sums up how one should prepare for the complete interview process. Now I'd like to ask one more question. So for example, let's say somebody is coming from a non-technical background, or let's say somebody is coming from an IT background but don't have any kind of backing in data and analytics discipline. So how can they get into the field of data science with the help of professional trainings that are available in the market right now at the abundant rate? How professional certification can help them better make their career transition better into data science?
Very good question. I think those who are working professionals, right? And especially I have seen majority other IT people, right? From other fields like non-technical commerce, BSc, right? Not like engineers, to say so. They want to come into data science, right? And I feel you need to bring that at a serious note, that aspiration. Then you have to go for professional training, like sort of Intellipaat is doing for at a reasonable rate. And why it's so important? Because a lot of time I have been told that these things are on the YouTube, you can search, but that motivation factor is the thing which I feel right that you have to bring into the equation. It's not that these information are not readily available, but it's not curated. Right? It has not been backed by industry expert, right? So likes of Intellipaat and other players in the market, they bring you the authentic training, right? And give you the industry exposure as well, and the motivation. So you see, right, someone who is coming from an electronics background, doing data science in supply chain, consulting and all, then you see that, oh, I think I can also
make that happen.
And for that, you need that professional training. In my time, it was all, you can either go to IITs or NITs and get some course. But now this has become, in last 5 years or so, it has become upskilling is a big course. And I feel you are not upskilling, you are downskilling, because others are upskilling. And that's where professional training has a lot to say. And we give value to them because you have gotten into, rigorous boot camp for, let's say, 6 months. And that gives you a lot of clear understanding, right? What is data science, how you can prepare for it. And when you are working professional, right, you can, once the boot camp is complete, you can take some internal project, because you cannot be going as a fresher if you have 10 years of experience, and try to work within your team. Every team will have data, and bring some machine learning based use cases. And that can become a ground for you to do internal jump into data science domain if your company is having, or you can try jobs outside.
Okay.
That's I have to say on this.
So from your lingo, we have got a lot of data science wisdom, and I'm damn sure as much as I have learned from your wisdom, definitely all of our learners and all the people who are trying to get into data science, they'll learn as well. Thank you so much for dedicating your time to us and being part of this podcast conversation. That's all I have to say, and will be grateful to you for dedicating your time in this endeavor. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, and thank you for having me here. I really enjoyed the conversation, and all the best to the aspiring data scientists. Feel free to bother me. You can find me on LinkedIn at Akash Pushkar, right? And yeah, looking forward to have more conversation like this.
Thank you so much. Thank you, sir.